We're live. Shawna, let's get cooking.
I just want to show off this salsa. So this is what we're going to be incorporating kind of like as a garnish and for flavor on top. But first, we're starting with the star of the dish, the oyster mushrooms. So I'm just going to fry them up in a bit of olive oil. And got to get my stove going here. There we go. So yeah, I mean, they're just roughly chopped oyster mushrooms. I know some people like to use the fork method if you have the type with like the thicker stems, and you can kind of just like roughly tear it into pieces. So we're gonna do that. And I mean, I can't have oyster mushrooms without garlic, so we have like a few tablespoons of minced garlic here. So this is gonna start smelling amazing pretty quick. And
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it looks like a lot of mushrooms, but they actually cook down quite a bit. So you're probably gonna need more than like what you would expect. So we're gonna get those cooking. And the other part of the taco, kind of like one of the main pieces, is plantains. So I pretty much put plantains in everything. Like I'll have them with my breakfast sometimes, like with some beans and tortillas and veggies. I just love them. They're just like such a good hearty food. So I'm gonna get the other frying pan going, also with some olive oil.
Oh my goodness, we are live from Mexico, everyone. This is so exciting. Can you hear the birds outside too? Every so often, we can hear a little bit of chirping and singing of the birds live. Now, where are you exactly in Mexico? And tell us a little bit about where you get those mushrooms. Take it away.
Yeah, I'm in the state of Oaxaca on the coast, in Puerto Escondido. And I don't know if it's like oyster mushroom season right now, but for some reason, every time I go to the local health food store that I live close to, they have these beautiful fresh oyster mushrooms. So they must be grown nearby. And it's just so, like, I'm from Canada. I'm based in Vancouver. I don't really have oyster mushrooms that often when I'm there. I just get like the normal button mushrooms or cremini mushrooms, sometimes portobello. So it just feels like such a treat because like these oyster mushrooms, the texture is so amazing. And especially for tacos, so nice.
Love it. What's next?
So I kind of just like roughly chop the plantains like pretty thick. So we're just gonna fry them until they get nice and crispy on the outside.
Now, this is the oyster mushroom tacos with a creamy chipotle sauce recipe being revealed right now. Shawna Barker, who is a nutritionist, a vegan chef, a college educator, instructor, and an expert in plant-based nutrition, is bringing this to us live. Back to you.
So, I mean, the mushrooms, the first few times I made these, I washed them too much and they soaked up too much water, so they were kind of soggy. So the key is kind of just to use like a damp cloth to clean them with and then fry them until they get a little bit crispier. And then we are going to make a tofu-based chipotle sauce. So I use soft tofu, if you can see it in the NutriBullet there. I use soft tofu for like my creamy sauces quite often, especially when it's a dish like this where there's no beans, there's no tempeh, there's no tofu, there's like not a concentrated protein. So the sauce with the tofu is like an easy way to bump up the protein content. Like especially now that we're using like mushrooms as kind of a meat substitute for a lot of recipes and plant-based dishes, I like to have more protein. I don't know, I lift a lot of weight, so I want my protein in like every meal that I have throughout the day. So yeah, I love this, and it's a super easy sauce. So we have soft tofu. Anytime you do a sauce, you kind of want an acid in there to help balance the flavor. So that can be, today I'm using lime juice. You can use lemons, apple cider vinegar, or any type of vinegar, really, depending on what you're making. And then what's so nice about this cream-based or tofu-based sauce is the variety. So sometimes I make it with nutritional yeast, and it's super like cheesy, like for pasta or something. I've made a dill lemon version. Today we're using some chipotle peppers. So these are pretty easy to find, even if you're not in Mexico. I used to get this brand in Vancouver as well. So
what I love,
if you like it.
Yes, and what I absolutely love is how you're showing, no matter where you travel, where you go, you can get vegan food and make a vegan dish.
Yes, exactly.
Now, is this spicy? This is it really spicy, the Chipotle right there?
I don't find it too spicy. Chipotle peppers are like smoked first, so it has like a really nice smoky flavor. So that's kind of what I like about it. Like, I'm not like really into hot sauces and stuff. Like, I like a little bit, obviously, but I guess I'm kind of like a baby when it comes to like the really spicy ones. So yeah, I like the smokiness of the chipotle. So I'm just flipping over the plantains first.
Now, will you, when you get a moment, will you show us the plantains in the pan? Because I think it's so good for people to see kind of how that's going to go. Thank you so much.
So hopefully I don't toss them. But yeah, if you can see, you can kind of like char them on the outside a little bit. So I just flipped them over. So now they're going to need like probably another minute or two. And then the oyster mushrooms are getting crispy on the outside. So besides the lime juice and chipotle, I'm going to put a little bit of tamari in. I just find it like rounds out the flavor, adds a little bit more like depth to it. So just a spoonful there. And, you know, if I make a creamy sauce using nuts or seeds or avocados, I don't really add any other oils because you have the fats in those other foods. But tofu doesn't have a lot of fat, so I kind of just want to add a little bit of olive oil. And then some salt, my favorite salt and pepper shakers. So just some like regular sea salt. And now we will blend. So
okay, get ready for it, everybody. Get ready, everybody. Let's go. Come on up. Get your body moving. We got that.
So I'm going to turn off the plantains. Those are ready. My hands are a little bit wet, so of course I can't open this now. There we go. So here we go. I mean, I'm all about the sauces. If you have a good sauce, you can make any dish taste amazing. So that is our sauce for on top. And pretty much we're just gonna like start assembling these. So what I do have though that we'll add in is some avocado. And I mean, you can be super flexible with the toppings that you add in here. You can have avocado or not. The salsa, you could do like a mango instead of tomato. So these are really fun because you can like make them different every time almost. So here we go. The mushrooms are done.
Now, can we see the mushrooms in the pan as well? And the question of the day is, how long do you cook those in there?
How long?
Yes.
That was how long has it been? Like 5 minutes or so?
I think you're right. Maybe 5 to 6 minutes. Yep, there you go.
I mean, that will be different on an electric stove versus a propane stove. So I find things cook quicker on propane.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
I love what you said about it's all about the sauce.
Yes. It truly is. And then, so let's see that. I feel so lucky. There is someone that delivers fresh corn tortillas warm, like out of a cooler, probably 4 times a day on my street. So whenever I hear the little horn on the motorbike, I can just go out and get like these amazing fresh corn tortillas. So I got these maybe like an hour or so ago. So they've cooled down a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is just quickly heat them on the skillet. So I did move the, I put the plantains, I just combined it in the other pot just to make things simple. And then these take like literally 10 seconds just to warm up a bit. And you don't even have to do that. I think it's just like a personal preference. What I will do though is like usually have a tea towel. So once I heat them up, I'll stack them in the tea towel and then I'll bring them over to the table. So they kind of stay a bit more warm that way. So that's pretty much ready. Maybe I will move the sauce and stuff just so you can see a little bit more. But yes, fresh corn tortillas. If you don't have access to those, you can use flour tortillas, anything you like really, any type. So we are going to do some of the mushrooms. Oh, this, I wish you guys could smell this. These are amazing. So mushrooms. Now, just like one kind of big piece of plantain on each. So you can see like how quick this actually is. Yes, I did a little bit of prep. I chopped some stuff and washed it a bit, but it's super easy and quick to make. So I do make these quite often. Now we will put in a little bit of avocado.
And while you're creating these and putting these together, tell us a little bit about Synergy Nutrition as well as Vegan Boss podcast.
Yeah, I'd love to. So, I mean, my journey with plant-based eating started about 30 years ago, 29 years ago. That's when I went vegetarian, but I had no idea what I was doing in terms of my nutrition. So that's why I decided to study nutrition. I've had Synergy Nutrition for like 10 years now. So I work one-on-one with clients and make meal plans. So a bunch of different stuff there. I took about 10 years to transition from being vegetarian to vegan, but I mean, I went vegetarian in 1992 and I didn't even know the word vegan back then. So it was like a very slow transition for me. But in my first year of university, I finally went fully vegan, and that was like 18, 19 years ago. And I've loved every second of it. It's like the best decision ever. And then, yeah, my sister went vegan after me, so probably about 8 years ago, and we decided we just love talking about veganism so much, and there's so many interesting and different vegans out there. We decided to start a podcast, so that's called Vegan Boss Radio. It's on Spotify, Podbean, kind of anywhere you can listen to podcasts. And yes, I have added the avocado.
Nice.
Yes.
Love it.
And now, I mean, this is just, I took 3 of my favorite ingredients that I use all the time here: tomatoes, cilantro, and onion. Actually, we're gonna put the sauce on first because this looks really pretty on top of the sauce. Otherwise, it just looks like sauce. So we're gonna add that on. But yeah, I decided to study like nutrition, so I could figure out how to do a vegan diet properly for my health, so that it would be sustainable and like last like my lifetime. Because yeah, there's no going back for me now.
Wow, this is beautiful and so nutritious, delicious, and flavor bursting. Can't wait to see these up close and personal. Everybody, we're going to have this recipe for you available. Head over to Unchained TV for thousands of recipes and more. Look at this. Thank you so much, Shawna. And thank you, everybody, for watching us here on Lunch Break Live. Final words over to you, Shawna.
Yeah, I'd love to connect with you on social. So vegan_boss for Instagram for the podcast, and synergy_nutrition for my nutrition practice. And yeah, I have lots of exciting things coming up, nutrition webinars, a monthly newsletter. We have a Patreon for our podcast and lots of exciting guests. So stay tuned for new episodes.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time on Lunch